Thanks for joining. My name is Chris Lee. My partner in crime here is Cameron. We are with Channel Bytes. Today we are talking with Scott at SonicWall and Tom, does not want to show his face, from Securematics. I'm going to let them each introduce themselves really quickly. Tom?
Hey, I'm Tom Poor. I'm the business development manager for SonicWall at Securematics. Most of the partners that are on have received emails from me, and we're kind of the ones that were driving participation in those kind of things. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a family guy, got a ton of kids, and I like to play golf and guitars and work on those. So that's me.
All right, Scott.
All right. Hi, my name is Scott Jenkins. I work with SonicWall. I'm the Northern California Territory Sales Engineer. Been in the industry for quite a while, owned a couple MSPs myself, and love to travel. Can't do a whole lot of that right now, but I do love to travel. And little fun fact, I actually met my wife over the computer bulletin board service before the internet. So been happily stuck for 27 years since.
Well, it's interesting. I met my wife on classifieds.
Classifieds.
No, she was looking for an apartment and I had an ad.
All right, let's not get sidetracked here. Well, first off, I appreciate SonicWall for sponsoring today's event. This is the second one in a series that we've been doing with them, so always great to be partnering with you guys. The second piece is that to all the participants, if you have any questions, in the Zoom webinar, you'll see a Q&A box. You can click on that and ask away. We will either get to them throughout this discussion or save them to the end. All right, so what are we talking about today? We are talking about SD-Branch, right? And we brought the experts, or I should say we brought an expert, Scott. Tom, I'm not going to give you that much credit yet.
Yeah,
So,
I wouldn't do that.
Thanks.
So let's get this started. Let's start with a little bit of 101 here. What is the main problem SD-Branch is meant to solve, and why would I or someone care about investing in SD-Branch?
Okay, well, I'll start off with that one. And, because it's built on the shoulders of SD-WAN, is kind of the evolution of SD-WAN. Scott, really, what does it address with that as the base? What does that really mean?
Right. Well, an SD-WAN really was kind of an overlay of features, right? So it was taking multiple internet connections and then adding other features on it for resiliency, bandwidth aggregation, taking our existing technologies. So now that we have these resilient connections out at the branch, how do we manage the branch as a whole? And so that's where SD-Branch came through, coming through kind of a common management platform for all of the infrastructure, all the things from your router to your firewall, switch, wireless, endpoints, all of the different features, and being able to software-centrically manage those. So
okay, so let's take
those efficiencies.
You bring up a good question. Maybe we should just take a step back and talk about what's the real difference between SD-WAN and SD-Branch.
Thank you.
Right, yeah, and SD-WAN is part of SD-Branch. SD-WAN, for those branch offices, you have to get them connected back to corporate. So having that multi-WAN experience to be able to make sure that all your branches have fast, secure access back to HQ or out to the cloud for all their different apps. That SD-WAN is an integral part of SD-Branch, and SD-Branch includes that, as well as a common management platform to manage all the different aspects of that branch network, from the switches to, like I said, wireless, endpoint protection, cloud apps, all the things that you need to do to manage all of the users and keep them protected out at the edges.
All right.
Of your network.
Can we maybe distill part of that down, distill it down to the main benefits of SD-Branch?
Yeah, really, it's using a common platform so that you have the efficiencies to scale. So I don't have to have guys that are experienced in 4 different vendors. They can come in, They know what to expect, and it's easy management, easy to roll out remotely. And it's really just about kind of breaking things down and making it easy and cookie cutter out at the branches so that one person can scale across a whole lot more branches. So operational efficiency really for IT and partners.
All right. I like efficiency. Tom, you look like, are you confused or?
Well, I was just thinking about, they're in the benefits. I think there are some subsets there, and I think that one of them is reducing cost, right, Scott? And how does it do that? I mean, what's the real way that it does that, pulls that down?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's having one box that does multiple features. Our firewalls, not only do you have the SD-WAN built into it, you're not having to do a separate SD-WAN device and having complex routing and those issues. It's all built into one device. And from that same screen, you're managing the other aspects of that branch network. So it's one box, it's kind of that one ring to rule them all, right? And so coming in and having that simple solution and being able to enforce it across, something that's easy to deploy, an intuitive OS, that kind of thing, to make sure that it's super easy to have your staff learn and maintain across.
Yeah. In fact, on the automation side, Scott, you can actually build some templates and things like that to be able to apply them, or is that coming in new releases? Or?
Yeah, that's coming out soon. Our Capture Security Center, right now you can go ahead and manage your firewalls, and we do actually have licensing where you can apply one change across multiple firewalls, as well as scheduling them. So, all of us IT guys all work during the day, and then of course the maintenance windows are at night. So work when you're fresh, schedule those changes, and then you just have to do a trust but verify. So it really lets one person be leveraged across a wide number of remote sites, and that automation, and then being able to they'll be able to templatize that and be able to actually have templates so that, again, consistency is key. Whether you're an MSP or a multi-branch company, you've got to knowing what's at every site and how it should be set up, and having those templates to enforce that. That's really the key to streamlining your operations and your MSP if you're as a partner.
So that's almost like a soft reduced cost there because it's the ease of use and things like that, the automation. So how does SD-Branch interact with the rest of your security suite? You've got stuff already in place. How does it react with all of those things that are built out?
Yeah, it's really it's an extension of. So our cloud portal has multi-tenants, so you can have each branch in its own tenant and manage it separately, or from a partner point of view, you actually can have each of your different customers there, and you can you have all the different parts, from the management to reporting, analytics, antivirus, all the different parts of that SD-Branch, and manage it from that console. And really, it makes things a whole lot easier to manage from that single pane of glass, so to speak.
Hey, Scott, is all of this still managed from the CSC?
Yeah, you can manage it from the CSC, or you can log into the router itself or the firewall itself to manage it. So you have a couple different options based on what you'd like to do. But having that web management is really where the industry's going.
Awesome.
Right, everybody wants the portal.
So yeah, that was a question from one of the attendees, and I do want to remind the attendees, if you have questions, please drop them in the chat or the Q&A, and we'll just address them live as they come in.
So I've got a question. Gotcha. So we're looking at SD-Branch. We talked about all the goodies that go there. We talked about the security, managing through single pane of glass, all that good stuff. But if I'm out there looking at investing in SD-Branch enabled hardware, what are the main things I need to consider going forward? And I'm sure there's a few things that you can help us out on that and what to look for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's, especially at the edge, that's where, your users are interacting and where all the public, where all the bugs work, right? That's your weakest point. So having a secure platform that's going to give you that protection that scales across all the different parts that you need, from, firewall as a service to being able to manage all the different parts. You're really looking for that one tool, that kind of that one-stop shop that gives you the security story and process to be able to manage all of your edges.
Right. So easy to deploy, ready to go out, manage multiple customers, if you can, through the same pane of glass and things like that. So I think there's kind of a natural here on where the opportunity lies for SD-Branch for our VARs and MSPs and folks like that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different aspects of SD-Branch, and so it gives you a lot of ways to get in, right? So you're talking about, one, the firewall. Then you're talking about, can I integrate the switches into that, or do I have an existing investment? So you have a lot of different holes. So going in with SonicWall through Securematics, you've got the firewall, the access points, the switches, the local antivirus and that runs against our capture threat network, cloud application security. So all of those different things really help giving you at least one hook, if not 5, to get into those customers to help you get sticky and really protect them from all the different threat vectors that come into a network.
Can you maybe can you give me like maybe an example of applications or verticals where SD-Branch is going to be a good fit? Like something specific?
Absolutely. Sure. We have a number of customers. We have a large cellular vendor where every one of their retail stores are managed from a global command center, so to speak, the NOC, where they've got our firewall, our APs, and they're able to manage every branch across the web. So they have that common core. Strings of medical offices, especially with HIPAA and all that, with the security suite, having all of those tied together for electronic medical records use as doctors travel from office to office. They need that security as well as the flexibility of being able to be mobile. We actually have some of our products in the military for different military vehicles. There's just kind of a plethora. And even most small businesses are really, it's kind of almost synonymous with a branch network. And so it really works for many small businesses are really just, glorified branches that, again, if you develop that standard across, then it makes your service easy to provide.
So like just kind of thinking on it, sounds like this is a good fit for organizations that have like strict governance, compliance. Like, and I'm thinking medical maybe, right? Because it sounds to me like this simplifies maybe record keeping, or am I misinterpreting that?
Well, it simplifies for, especially if it's geographically spread out where you have a lot of offices, having one guy that can come in and from the cloud manage all the firewalls, all the security, making sure the wireless is available for the doctors because they're all walking around with laptops for their, for medical records in front of patients. How often does your doctor walk in, right? They walk in with that laptop and they're going in, or they log into that computer. So having all of that kind of built in and having that, making sure that it's secure, there's an awful lot of regulations in that. The cloud security actually does do auditing. So as each of your different techs are logging in to the firewalls, making changes to your environments, you actually have that audit log. So any MSP vendor that has ever asked, their staff who logged in and made this change, everybody gives you that Scooby-Doo answer, right? I don't know. So having that auditing and that compliance, yeah, right. So that's really, to help you with, from a training point of view, making sure who needs some help, right? And making sure that, who did what, when, and where, so you can help them out. So everybody's successful.
And so I'm assuming this is like super fast kind of thing, or does this not affect connectivity speeds?
It really doesn't. I think the average, a day's worth of our management from the web is really equal to maybe about a 10-minute YouTube video. So from a bandwidth point of view, spread over 24 hours. So it's really nominal. Most people don't notice any difference.
Okay. So I guess so as you can tell, so clearly I'm the least knowledgeable person on this call because I'm the one asking all the stupid
good questions though, Cam.
See, I called them stupid.
Let me lead in. Got a quick question for you on that, Scott. So this is a 1U device, correct, that does multiple functions?
It is. It is.
So good for anybody that's got space constraints. That's, you know, between the space constraints, logistical constraints, a single device that performs multiple functions meets the high performance. Pretty slick.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that's that 1U appliance. And, you know, although, you know, even if you talk the TV line, we've got rack mount kits where you see the front of the firewall, all the cables are directly to the left, makes everything accessible. You can see everything that's going on without having to get into your rack, tear through the cabling, any of that. Everything's right there in front, nice and neat. And really it makes it easy to manage. And,
sounds to me like it's there to facilitate Reddit karma farming. Put that on oddly satisfying. Only Reddit geek on the call? Very good. Let's just go right on past that, folks. Okay. So I guess the question I'm trying to think of here is like, I'm an MSP. What does this do for my day-to-day?
Right. Yeah, you know, it's really having your staff be able to come in quickly, be able to do configuration changes, having something that's predictable and stable to make sure that I can have the more stability I have and the less tickets and things that I have coming in, the more customers I can have across a smaller staff. That's really the MSP formula, is how many people can I support and how many do I need? So having a good solid platform that manages my suite of services and having that scale widely across, that's really the formula for success.
All right, I have a couple of questions from the audience. You ready for this? We're gonna do it lightning round style. I'm just kidding. Okay, question number one is from
Talk it to me.
Can you have address objects associated globally above the tenant level in the CSC? Right now, I don't know how I can have an address object that I push down to all tenants, correct?
Actually, if you have our full CSC management, you can actually add an address object and you can apply it across multiple firewalls. So you need the Capture Security Center, the full management license. We have a new solution coming out where instead of you physically applying them actively, you can actually apply templates that include those address objects. So we have part of it now. Templatizing was really the future coming in Q3 here. But we do have that now, but you have to have the full management license.
Roger that.
Capture Security Center to do that.
Coming soon to a router near you.
So next question.
Absolutely.
Next question for you. Is SonicWall going to improve BGP significantly?
Yeah, I know that the process of that has gone through. It's somewhat command line as well. I know there's some new firewalls coming out over the next year. I don't know, to be perfectly honest. I think you've actually stumped the expert. I have not heard the new ones there, although I know that especially with some of the newer WAN and SD-WAN, that BGP is critical. So I'm sure whatever the business need is, we're going to need to address that.
Yeah, it's important. Anybody that's ever worked in the data center has experienced one of their customers go through a BGP flapping episode. It's not fun. So we'll get back. We'll make a note of who asked that question, and we'll do some deeper and get back to you on that one. I wrote down the BGP question.
Solid.
Great.
A few more questions here, and then we'll go back because I have other questions, but you know I'm less important. Will site-to-site VPNs be unbreakable via SD-WAN?
Unbreakable. SD-WAN, let's say you have 3 internet connections, cable, DSL, maybe a cellular modem. It actually creates a site-to-site VPN over all 3 of those, and then will distribute traffic across all 3 of those based on different criteria, packet loss, latency, jitter. And so the way SD-WAN works is if one gets dirty and all that, it'll pull it out of the bundle. So you're getting the benefit of 3 different connections in this case to make sure that you stay up and running. So I wouldn't say unbreakable, but highly resilient would be probably a good way of stating that.
Do you need to make those site-to-site VPNs manually for each connection?
No, as you go through the SD-WAN setup, technically you can bundle configurations across. And so there's a way to kind of go through and add your different WAN options to that.
Okay. And what class devices are typically deployed at the branch offices?
Usually you see smaller firewalls. In our assets, you'd see the TZ series, smaller NSAs. Branches would probably be maybe 200 nodes and down, kind of thing. So you're going to see a couple switches, 3 or 4 access points, that kind of stuff in a large branch. Smaller branches are 10, 20 people. So you're really seeing a TZ firewall, 1 switch, and maybe just a couple wireless.
Driven mostly by connection, Scott?
Yeah, usually it's more by bandwidth and by the number of users. So, you have to make sure that, everybody has a stateful firewall. Even Nick here or one of those vendors will say, I have a 1 gig firewall, but really it's what is it with all the security services turned on? What's the secure throughput? And so leveraging what that secure throughput is to make sure that that branch is covered and everybody stays secure, that no traffic is being let through because of an overwhelming amount of traffic. So I guess that would be roughly the average branches.
Last question. Is there a list of SD-Branch ready hardware, appliances, devices anywhere?
Actually, technically all of our hardware you could be used on a branch, but all of the SonicWall products can be incorporated into that. So bringing the TZ in with our new line of switches, bringing those in, and adding our existing SonicWaves. All of our existing devices are now meant to kind of work together. You can actually manage all 3 of the functionality, wired, wireless, with your security, and manage it all in. So it's all built to integrate.
Yeah, and if I may, between one of the values that SecureMatics and SonicWall can bring you is SE support, both from SonicWall and from SecureMatics. Some of you that may know Anon, our SE at SecureMatics, we'd be happy to have a conversation with you, talk exactly about what configurations might be needed for your application. So please use us in that way. That's part of the value we bring. Just had to interject a little commercial there.
Absolutely. Yeah. SecureMatics, Tom's great to work through bombs with the partners. We going back and forth, and sometimes it takes a little investigation to get down to what they really need, and we're here to help.
Right on.
So I want to touch on something that actually both you and Tom said earlier, which is like compatibility. You talked about things working together. So, I guess the question is, like, if I've already got Cisco hardware, for example, I got Cisco switches, am I SOL here, or do I have the ability to branchify my tree? Yeah,
the whole SD-Branch story is really using that common secure centric, but just because you have one vendor in there, you have an existing investment. We certainly play well with others. And you can incorporate all the other parts of the SD-Branch. And so, we certainly integrate in and adhere to most of the standards out there. So
basically, you don't need SonicWall switches to be able to deploy SD-Branch, but the benefit of using those gives you a little bit of increased functionality, right, Scott?
Right. Because the whole point of SD-Branch is I log into one pane of glass and I can manage everything. So here I can log into most things, and then I have to log into my in this example, my Cisco switch separately. So I have to have another secure path, a remote access, and that kind of stuff. So being able to do all of that, and that's where the benefit.
But I think that the ability to play nice to other kids in playground matters, right? Because as you know, a lot of times, upgrade cycles aren't all at once. Sometimes they're linear, a bit of a journey, right? So people can like incorporate this hardware as their budgets and upgrade cycles kind of allow, is what I'm hearing, and it's not going to be really a big drawdown.
Yeah, actually, you nailed it. It is a journey. Most people can't forklift upgrade their entire network, and so it's adding those pieces in as you can, and at least having that vision of where I'm headed that ultimately I'm going to be able to, you know, again, one ring to rule them all, right? For those Tolkien fans. So
Right.
we want to make sure that, but yeah, sometimes it can take some time.
We got a question. Sir, we got a question here. Sorry to cut you off there. Are SonicWall switches the same as the Dell Power Connect line that Dell discontinued? They look nearly identical.
Yeah, we're not OEMing their X, you know, Power Connect X series switches, but you know, they're similar. Some of the programming and how the SonicWall handles the switch compared to some of the Power Connect is similar. So those people who have experience doing that they'll actually be able to just intuitively kind of run on the SonicWall switches. So some of those lessons learned are incorporated. So you'll see some flexibility, and you can even use the Dell switches with the SonicWall and manage them all if you happen to have that investment.
Cool. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the requirements that SonicWall looked at when they were coming up with their SD-Branch solution. What went into that?
Yeah, it's really, you know, trying to create those that intuitive interface. You know, SonicWall has always been known for an easy interface. You know, that's part of why we're so prevalent in the SMB world. You know, it's surprising sometimes when people look at all the different features, how sophisticated it can get. But really looking to create an easy configuration that is intuitive, where people can come in, they authorize the switch, and then you're just clicking on ports and going. So it's getting that easy, intuitive face and offering the quality. You know, a good, you know, speed. You know, a lot of our competitors at the branch level, the switch is literally half as fast as our 24 port. I think it actually has 128 gig throughput. So it's really, you know, where a lot of them are 50 something. So really having that ease of use and the tight integration is really what we're looking for. And we had kind of a hole in our line with not offering a line of switches. And so now we're kind of rounding out that branch network. So we're not forcing our partners to go out and find a third-party switch to do that. You know, so you have something that's meant to work with it. It's kind of like you can add a whole bunch of different stereo parts, but you can't have that one remote to rule them all, right? So we want to have everything that's meant to work together and by design.
So I got a question because you mentioned about third-party switches. And then there's a couple of questions from attendees that I also want to get to. So let's start with, just because I'm curious here, you know, you don't want your partners to go out and grab third-party switches. Totally makes sense. So I guess the question I have is, I keep saying that. I guess the question I have is, how does SonicWall solution, your SD-Branch solution, compare to its peers?
I think we're right in there as far as and especially with the new web platform that's going to be coming out. So I think we're, you know, the best is yet to come. There's still evolution coming out. You know, having everything work together and we're not OEMing it from three different places. It's actually a SonicWall switch. So I think you'll see as everything comes together. And some of the new products that are coming out here soon, really there's some ease of use and performance that I think most partners are going to be looking for. The branches keep getting faster and faster.
Right, and SonicWall switches are faster than a lot of the competition as well, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We looked at a lot of our access levels switches, you know, and I think there's you know, what is the use case, right, for our switch? They are access level switches. So the routing's still being done by the firewall for all the different VLANs, that kind of stuff. So you're getting, you know, so going through and making sure you have a max of 4 that you can daisy chain together. So really that's, you're looking at about 200 nodes and down as the best case scenario for us. So I guess as we design them, we design them for that 200 node down branch to be able to accommodate those size networks.
So interestingly, one of the questions we have is, what's the best business case for the SonicWall switch? And I'm guessing it's the 200 node or less application.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Some comments from the gallery. Please add a router with real BGP.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's an ongoing discussion. Hey, so I hear from VARs and MSPs all the time about deploying and managing SD-WAN and the complexity involved. A lot of manufacturers and vendors have made their SD-Branch solutions so complicated that they're not doing it. So SonicWall has an ease of deployment and an ease of use that single pane of glass, but there's also zero touch and things. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, all of our newer firewalls, everything from 6513, zero touch. So you basically set it up, you register it in my SonicWall. It's a single checkbox to turn on zero touch. When that firewall comes online and grabs the DHCP address, it automatically inserts it into the cloud portal. And then you can actually configure it, go ahead and apply your different global configs across. You can do firmware upgrades to make sure that everything is ready to go. So having all of that ease of use and being able to roll and deploy rather quickly really leads to that ease of use.
Sounds like either Cam or I could probably do that with a little bit of training.
Maybe you, Tom. I'm not so
you.
sure about Cam, but so
remember, I used to work at Channel Bytes.
Let's talk about ordering. Most of the attendees today are partners. What goes into this? How do partners get their hands on it? Specifically, like, is there additional licensing that needs to be purchased? Obviously, we talked a little about hardware. What about the support side?
Yeah, the support is, SonicWall and all of our different products, have that 24/7, 365 support. So there's no separate SKU other than adding the web management if they want to be able to use that versus logging into the firewall. But really, that SD-Branch functionality is built into the Sonic OS. So they're the best things in the world from the MSP world is we're getting it for free. It's included, right?
Yeah.
So that's it's built in. And so getting your NFR devices, calling Tom and working through the bombs to get through and get those defined.
Yeah, thanks for that, Scott. Yeah, absolutely. We, get together with our SEs, look at the bombs, get down into what you need and actually propose the right solution for you based on, that 200 node and under, whatever we're going for there. But yeah, absolutely. And SecureMatics be very happy to help you through that. And we can always pull in the SE from SonicWall as well.
Yeah, I actually heard that right now, if you order 2 or more switches from SecureMatics, that Tom will record you a song on a Loom video and send it to you via email.
Oh, you bet. Absolutely.
Oh, but you've got such a beautiful voice. I wanted to address some of the audience questions here. There's a few. Can I dive into some of this stuff? Yeah, okay.
Sure.
All right. Number 1, I'm starting to work on a new project that is infrastructure that will require BGP IPsec setup. They missed the start of the conversation. So is that a solution that SonicWall can provide? Are there any issues? And it's important to note this is for public works, so there cannot be challenges tied with issues and communication problems.
Gotcha. Honestly, that's a fairly involved setup. I think it probably would be better answered offline. I'd be more than happy to talk to somebody about that.
Yeah, sure.
And exactly how they're setting it up. Yeah, I guess the short answer is it depends, but let's go through all the details and we can certainly work that out. I know you're not, that's been done.
Okay. Next one. There's a new SonicWall ordering. They are ordering a 01 SSC 3435 plus a 02 SSC 0171. How do they get the full CSC?
0171 is actually our analytics, right? So that gives you the full analytics and reporting in Capture Security Center. There's actually a Capture Center security management for the TZ line. It's actually in the price sheet, it's about 4 or 5 lines up. And so they want to look and actually match that analytics with the Capture Security Center management. SKU. Don't do the management reporting. You get the reporting with the analytics. So since they've
Oh.
already ordered the 171.
So the follow-up question, 01 SSC 3435?
3435 is actually management and reporting. So if you already have the 0171, if you're doing it for a year, it would be 01 SSC 3664 is actually the SKU for Capture Security Center 1 year. And you can roll that out 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. They're stackable. So you can actually...
Sorry, can you spit that SKU out one more time? It went by pretty quick.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, let me grab that.
No, that's actually an actual question. It's not just me, I promise.
You're not making this stuff up?
Nope.
01-SSC-3664. And that is the Capture Security Center management for TZ and the SOHO lines and the NSV lines 10 through 100. There is a separate SKU for NSAs. So it depends on which firewall you're enabling that on.
So the CSC and reporting and analytics are separate things that have to be ordered at the same time, or?
You can add them anytime, but if you order analytics, you get the reporting. So if you want everything, you're gonna go ahead and grab the management SKU and the analytics SKU, and the reporting will come along with the analytics there. So you're not double buying the reporting by doing management and reporting.
Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, that was a concern. And then I'm surprised it actually took this long for this question to show up. I think this might actually be more of a Tom question, but I don't know. But what are the current promotions for SonicWall, guys?
3 for free. 3 and it's free. Those all came out. You all got my newsletter. So the current promotion with 3 for 3 is there. And we'll follow up with you on that one. And the promotion ends on August 31st. So we're trying to get that thing rolling. Basically,
is that 3 for free specifically for the switches?
That's correct.
Anybody have any?
Isn't that right,
I'm
Scott?
not sure about that. No, I don't think so. Actually, that's for the TZ350, the NSA 2650. That kind of thing. So it's on the firewall.
3-year support, free firewall.
There you go. And then, yeah, so you're basically paying for the security services and getting the firewall for free, right? And then we do have, I think, 3 more days of our Boundless promo. So as you bundle multiple services together, you get additional discounts. So if you're buying the firewall with Cloud App Security and antivirus, you're getting additional discounts for everything
that you add. That is correct. So yeah, those are the 2 current promos. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, good. And so is 3 and free a promo trade up?
No.
Roger.
It's just 3 years support, free firewall.
Roger that. We don't have any more questions, everyone.
Well, we did pretty good.
Wait,
about
no, that's
40...
not true. The question just came in.
Hey. All right.
TZ only on 3 and free.
No, that's TZ350, SOHO 250, and an NSA 2650 are the 3 models that are on the promo currently.
I'll send the promos out to everybody that attended today. We'll do a re-up, and I'll send you out all the current promos. Make sure you have them at your fingertips.
Roger that.
There you go.
All right. Well, Tom, it sounds like you got a lot of work ahead of you. Take that BGP question offline. We'll throw that information on your way. I appreciate everyone attending today. Oh, wait, we got another question.
When does Tom give me my SonicWall Serenade? That's a good question.
That's not in the chat box.
Who is helping with the design and sales engineering? Although one person did say they're taking you up on it, and I just dismissed it, but it's coming.
Yeah. Well, there are channel engineers for SonicWall across the nation. So wherever area you happen to be in, there is a local channel engineer that's supposed to work with partners. There are territory engineers such as myself that we work with partners. We'll even work on customer calls with you to help you show up. So if you want the vendor to come in with you to show that support, then we can come in. And then, of course, Tom with Securematics, they've got their own SEs and dedicated to come in and help you out. And I know Tom could probably describe these services better than I.
Yeah. I'm going to, so just as a quick heads up, there's another question here in the chat. There's another question here in the chat about what's available for CSE engineer training. Are there any, like, what are the resources, I guess?
Oh man, there's a ton of stuff available on the Secure First portal. You can go ahead and get certified on that if you needed to. And I actually took the sales certification, and some of the engineers told me that that was a little more difficult because it was off the wall esoteric numbers and things like that, and it really wasn't getting into just the, you know, the physical, how do things work. But yeah, we can point in that direction as well. We've got resources on our portal, but the Secure First portal for SonicWall's got, I mean, I would start with the very first course and see where it takes you. It's pretty, if you need any help getting there, please let me know. I'd be happy to walk you in and let you know. But if you're not signed up on the Secure First portal, you certainly should be. The SonicWall University is, I mean, it's great. It teaches you a ton of things and answers most questions.
Can you drop a link to that Secure First portal in the chat?
Or
email it out, maybe?
I can email it out with the, I'll email out current promos, and then I'll also email out the, you know, the link to the portal.
Deal.
And if you haven't been there and you're not registered, let me know. I'd be more than happy to walk in and make sure you get set up there. It's a very great tool. It really answers a lot of questions, and it's a huge value that SonicWall brings.
Awesome.
Oh, somebody.
Yeah, and when you're in, when our guys are in the, just to answer the question that popped up in the chat. When you're in the Capture Security Center, when you get into Capture Security Center, up at the top, I think it's a question mark icon. When you click on that, it actually pulls and brings up the actual getting started guide. So it really comes in and helps helps you get in and start at a run. Getting in and working through, I'll be more than happy to work with people, but having your SonicWall organized, all of those tenants and groups all migrate into CSE. And so that could be a whole separate call, but contact, you know, Tom or myself. We'd be more than happy to, especially myself on organizing your SonicWall. I can certainly help people streamline that.
Yeah, and super. Thanks, Andrew, for popping in the promotion link as well as the partner interface, the partner portal interface. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, that about wraps it up. I appreciate SonicWall for sponsoring this. Thank you, Tom, for adding all of the sales guys' value that you can. This will all be available as a recording later on. And obviously, Tom has got most of the homework here, so the rest of us can go have lunch. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Boys. Have a great day, everybody.
Take care, all.
Thanks for attending.